Hey guys, what's going on? Jake here, and welcome back to the F125 Cadillac Road to Glory. And today we are going to be finally driving as Franco Colapinto. We were due to drive as Franco Colapinto last race, but because of a qualifying ban in the sprint race, we had to take that penalty with Otmir and therefore drove the whole weekend with him. And it was an interesting weekend. We were going to finish P12 in the sprint, and then a random pile up of cars on the last lap allowed me to slide through into P2. And get a podium somehow with Lance Stroll also on that podium, and then Max Verstappen winning. And then in the Grand Prix, we ended up getting overtaken by Franco Colapinto, who ended up scoring points in P9, and I finished, or I should have finished in the sprint, which is P12. So still running 105 AI, but today we have some changes. We're going to finally change Otmir's components because he clearly hasn't changed them in a while. This is why you got to check. One weekend I'll forget and I'll have the worst components known to mankind. Definitely going to happen at some point. And I've also just seen a really, really good idea for Season 2. I think for Season 2 I'm going to run all 24 races, but I'm going to simulate some. Because I'm not the one actually in the car. It's not my character, and I'm not stuck to them. I can drive as either character. It kind of just feels like I'll just be managing the team for a weekend. So maybe I could do the quali and simulate the race for a track like Monaco, where I know I have decent pace in quali around Monaco, so we can qualify, but we just have to simulate the race sort of thing. So that is a good idea. I definitely think I will pursue that one at the very, very least. Let me actually note that down. Oh, don't know how loud that was. So let me write it down. For Season 2, do all 24 races, but sim some. So for example, I'll simulate the ones that I either really suck at, like China or Japan, and I will all the ones that I'm too good at and might win races when I don't deserve to. So yeah, they're just an idea and a thought, but now we are needing to talk about what we're actually doing, which is qualifying. And in this first lap, we were so slow that we got caught by Max Verstappen and had to actually defend him through the final corners. So yeah, not a great lap, but let's try and improve it with the second lap of the session, and it is clearly a good one because of how much of it we are going to be showing. And this video does actually look quite short. I'm not going to tell you it's because of a lack of action, but it might actually be because there's a lack of action. But through the first few corners, that is very neat and tidy, absolutely exploiting all the curves. Maybe we could have gained a bit more time by going a bit tighter to the curve on that last one. But then through here, we absolutely launched the car over the first one and over the second one, hardly even braking, and we are up so much. This happens a tricky one in the Grand Prix. The AI gets such better traction than you on this one, and they just are able to catch you quite easy unless you use ERS. With this one this year, they've changed it, so you have to ride that curve perfectly, but something that is different around this track is that you have to use the curbs as much as possible. As you can see, this lap so far has been absolutely fantastic. We are using the curbs to absolute perfection, and I'll be honest with you, maybe on some of the traction zones we're not maximising, but I'll tell you, the lines we're taking, we are maximising, and I'll tell you now, this is a very good lap. We are running out of battery though. Into the final sector we come, maybe a little bit slow into that corner, and into that corner as well. Maybe not the best on the power, but up to the line we go. We're going to improve by 1.2 seconds, which puts us to P6, only 3 times off Antonelli. And our first lap was so good that we're 2.5 tenths down coming into the final sector. We take a much better line there and gain a 10th, and we save a lot more energy this time, so we've gained a 10th so far in this final sector. And then through the final corners, bang, 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 here we come. Over this corner, gaining more time, over the final corner, wanting to carry more speed so we avoid the curb. We use our ERS, and we're going to gain 1.5 tenths. We could have definitely gained at least 2 more tenths, but that lap is going to put us P7. So if it wasn't for being, 2.5 tenths down, let's say we got those 2.5 tenths back, where would that have put us? With those 2.5 tenths, we would have been about P4, which I think is quite good. But we ended up getting P7. Leclerc, I mean, there is always one guy who just gets pole by a mile for some reason. And, yeah, I forgot to record the grid lineup because, you know, you've seen the important places and where I am. And we are going to be going for a 2-stop strategy once again. And, yeah, hopefully, looking for a good race. Everyone else seems to be starting on the mediums other than Lance Stroll on the softs, doing Lance Stroll things. And here we go, formation lap time. So, time for the confirmation of the strategies. We are starting in P7. I don't think there was any penalties to get us higher up. No, we are starting P7, and everyone but Stroll is on the mediums. We are going to be two-stopping. I think it's going to be mediums, hard, medium, I think, for this race. No, we're going to do medium, medium, hard for this race, which is interesting. We haven't done a single one-stop yet this season, but I think maybe we need to do one soon. So I think this is the last track I have as well. This is the last race I need to catch up on. We did another one today, which I'm super excited to edit and show you guys. It is Spain, which is normally a track I'm not great at. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. But also, we need to work on our wet weather driving on this game. My inter-conditions driving, I thought was quite good. But I went into a quali session in a different Grand Prix mode and to practice and that. 5 red lights for the Imola Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go. And the home man Kimi Antonelli gets a better start than his teammate George Russell and is already looking to gain positions. And we are under pressure from Carlos Sainz, having a stellar qualifying season, I must say. He's always high up there in his Williams, as we are going to sail around the outside. And Carlos Sainz has launched it, so we're going to have to launch it back. Just absolutely full send it through that corner. We cannot lose this position to the Williams. Potentially a constructor that we will be fighting, and we cut him off there. Maybe a risky move, maybe we would have crashed out there, but we are lucky enough to not have that happen, and we are still in P7, which I think is very fair. The start was a little bit poor, but we have managed to hold position. But as I said, the traction of the AI is crazy. They use the RS up this hill as well, so we have to hold Carlos Sainz off as best as we can, and we do so. But coming from lap 2 onto lap 3, we still have Sainz behind us, and we get a poor exit. We don't have the DRS. And here comes Carlos Sainz. There's not really much we can do. There's no point wasting battery. We may as well let Carlos through. Clearly quicker at this stage in the Grand Prix. And on lap 7, we are still with Sainz, who is now battling George Russell. But we have Hamilton and Tsunoda behind us. And while these two fight, we have managed to re-catch ourselves back up. But we go a bit wide to maybe get a better exit than the cars ahead. And Hamilton just launches it up the inside. I mean, I don't know. I mean, fairs. Absolutely fairs, but I mean, that's a bit ridiculous. And towards the end of that lap, is there anything we can do to fight back? Or is it going to be another overtake on us from Yuki Tsunoda potentially? But Tsunoda, Hamilton, Russell and Sainz from P6 down to P10 is the current gaggle of cars we're in. So at this point in the race, we are looking good for points. I know we started P7, but we had quicker cars behind us and Sainz. So, you know, we've just got to kind of roll with the stones really and just take points at this point. But yeah, as I alluded to, it's going to be Yuki Tsunoda flying past us, not us going after any cars. Almost 3 wide up ahead as well, but we decide because of that, let's defend Tsunoda and see if we can keep with these guys for another lap. How is that going to pay off for us? Well, by the time we get round to the next lap, lap 9, Tsunoda has overtaken us. We're nowhere near the CADILLAC cars ahead. We've lost time to the car behind Jack Doohan and unboxing. The pace just isn't there right now. The quali pace is most certainly there, but the race pace just isn't. And there's a lot of wear. I think that's something we need to work on. 47% on the rear right after 10 laps. I mean, we could have done more laps potentially. And now, looking in hindsight, I must say, we should have... Oh my God, not again. We've had a bad pit stop every single race. We've had at least one in every single race. We've done 2 stops in every race. One of them has been bad, the other one's been good. And it's 4.5 and 2.5 every time. We've lost 2 seconds again through a pit stop this season. The pit crew are getting fired. I've had enough. And how much is that going to cost us? Well, by the time people are starting to pit, we are going to come out and we are going to be how far behind Carlos Sainz? 4.4 seconds. So in the end, we would have been 2.4 seconds behind him, which is pretty much what we were when we boxed. So we haven't made up much time on the undercut, to be fair, which is a little bit disappointing. But it is what it is. And then the next time the next gaggle of cars come through, 2 seconds, where would that be? Would that put us near anyone again? No, the nearest car to us is once again Carlos Sainz. But we do have some quick cars behind us who we did finally manage to undercut now that the tyres are nice and warm. So let's see how things are going to go. And going on to lap 18, finally we have been caught by Kimi Antonelli. We've kept the gap to Jack Doohan the same. Jack Doohan's got similar pace to us. But yeah, Antonelli slides through into P5. We are now down to P6. Piastri is going to be the next car. Doohan slowly following these cars up in this train to get closer to us is a bit of a worry. But we are just going to once again let Piastri through and then jump behind him and maybe activate some ERS, I think. No, we probably should have though. But yeah, we go into hot lap mode though to try and keep some straight line speed. And now it's Hamilton and Tsunoda behind us once again as we go on to lap 21 almost. We have 48% on that rear right. And to be honest with you, Looking at this tyre wear, we definitely should have risked going on for a one-stop. We should have risked a one-stop. It definitely would have been worth it. Because one car who is going to try the one-stop in this race is Carlos Sainz. So let's see if that pays off for him. Because Carlos Sainz was, you know, quite a bit ahead of us. Maybe we should have risked a one-stop. Maybe it would have been worth it. But at the same time, we didn't really have track position. But yeah, second stop is good. As I say, they won't give me 2 bad stops in a race, or I will genuinely crash out. But we are going to rejoin this race because everyone else behind us is boxing in P15 with Jarno Opmeer currently 10 seconds, no, sorry, even more, 13 seconds down the road on a one-stop strategy. So more cars are going to pit that are doing a 2-stop strategy, and that is going to launch us all the way up into P... One of them is Jack Doohan as well, into P11, with Jarno Opmeer and Carlos Sainz ahead of us looking... I think Sainz might actually have been on a 2-stop. But those two are ahead of us right now, and they're the cars that we are trying to chase down. But I'll be completely honest with you guys, with 10 laps to go, oh my word, there's a DNF. Oh, and it's the homeboy, Andrea Kimi Antonelli. He is out the Grand Prix, which is really, really unfortunate. That's actually disappointing for Antonelli, mechanical failure in his home race, but that puts us into P10. And now Jarno Opmeer is the car ahead of us on that one stop with only 4 laps to go. I mean, the pace was good. We were catching Opmeer. I know he was on an older tyres, but we were catching him really quickly. And to be fair, the gap to Sainz was 11 seconds. He got past Opmeer quite quickly. And I think by the end of the race, the gap to him was about 6 seconds. So in the final stint, with similarly fresh tyres, we gained about 5 seconds on Sainz. So the pace on the hards was quite good, but it was kind of futile. It was like, okay, I can't let Opmeer take points off me. In the end, we both would have got, well, pretty much, unless there's a mechanical failure, if you look at the timings, we're both pretty much guaranteed points at this point. But I want P9 for Colapinto, and Opmeer will have to settle for P10. And it's a pretty bog-standard overtake. But yeah, as I said, even a lap later, we gained 2 seconds in one lap, or a second on that lap on Carlos Sainz. But, you know, where was that pace on the mediums? I genuinely have no idea. And as we come across the line, that's literally it. That's why this video was so short. All that's happened was I got overtaken by quicker cars. I made a couple pit stops. I don't think the only overtake I made that whole race was on my teammate, who did a 1-stop compared to my 2-stop and started way further back. And he gets driver of the day as well. Mental. Awful race.
And a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And it's always good, Crofty, to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
It's time to bring out the bubbly and spray it around. It's our podium celebrations. And for those that have missed the Dutch national anthem, fear not. It's back again, because Max Verstappen is back on the top step.
And despite the fact it felt like an awful race where there was no overtaking, we actually managed to get a double point score for the team. So in the end, for the team, it's good. I started P7, finished P9, Opmeer P17 to P10 on that 1-stop. So yeah, I mean, maybe we should have tried the 1-stop today. Maybe it would have paid dividends, and I think we definitely could have. I think I maybe overestimated the tyre wear and was maybe overreacting a bit to how bad the tyre wear was, and I was panicking maybe too much. But yeah, in the end though, it does make things look nice. Opmeer and myself looking good. Next time out is the Spanish Grand Prix, where we're going to be driving as Jarno Opmeer, because it is his turn. We're going to take it in turns like normal. But that is a pretty successful race. A double point score for the team. 3 points in the bag. And I know that we're currently competing with the big hitters, but we are not a big hitter, realistically, are we? So it is what it is. And they're now finally up to level 2 on the fan rating, which is good. So a pretty short video, but a nice and successful race, a one that we can get quickly edited and quickly out, which means we can then move on to the next Grand Prix, which will hopefully be out very soon, which is going to be the Spanish Grand Prix. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, that sort of stuff. And I know it's been a bit of a naff video, but next time out will hopefully be more exciting.